So I'm going to try to play this remake of Final Fantasy 1. I say try. I've played it before. I enjoy it. It's not great. It's a nice waste of time. It's fairly reminiscent of the original game in that it'll tell you the story well, probably better than the original. It's not 100% authentic, but it's like 85%. You get most of what you're seeing. It's a lot easier, that's for sure. I think the encounter rate is increased. And it's annoying because of that, but it's still more playable than the original, so it's a fine version. Oh, no, I don't want to see this. I was hoping to just listen through this piece. You get access to Final Fantasy 1 and 2 here. This is how I played Final Fantasy 2. It's probably a better version than the original FF2. That one I hear is quite unplayable. This one is easier to grind in, easier to naturally increase your stats. Anyway, Final Fantasy 1. I think that's a model for the Warrior of Light seen in Dissidia. So I want to go through the different classes and what their strengths and weaknesses are. Warriors, I think the only weakness I can really say about them is that they're reliant on equipment, and even that is not really that big of a weakness. They're really strong even if you give them basic equipment, but the better equipment you put on them, the stronger they become. Warriors are also the only really tanky characters you get, except for Thief late game. They're so defensive that a lot of the time the enemies only do single digit damage against them when you normally in the triple digits, and they just get stronger as the game goes on. They have the weakest attack power of all the melee characters, but still really strong, enough to one-shot most enemies you'll come across, so do fine damage against bosses. In my opinion, warriors are a must-pick in this version, and definitely in the original version. In the original, they overshadowed everyone else tremendously, to the point where a four-man warrior team was viable and actually quite strong. The thief is what's obviously the more agile one. It has more speed, which I'm not sure it does anything in either the original or this one. Maybe it makes it more likely that they'll attack first in combat, but that's not really their strength. They have poor defensive options early game, but that picks up late game to the point where they're the second most tanky characters in the game next to warriors. But they're always early game. They have really high attack power, more so than the warriors, but not as much as the monks. It starts dropping off later on, but that's when their defense starts picking up. So then, in this version, they're never bad. Later on, they also get access to a bunch of buffs, which makes them really useful in boss fights. So they're kind of useful early game, really useful late game, and that makes them always worth using in this version, in my opinion. In the original version, they're horrible. They're worse than the warrior in every possible way. They start picking up late game, but not to the point where it's worth all the pain you have to go through early game. In the original, FF1 never picked Thief. Monk, I don't have too much. Well, I tried playing one game with a monk, and I didn't like it very much. They're pretty much only useful for one thing, and that's doing a lot of damage once they're buffed. Because of this, they're great against bosses. If you just stack a whole bunch of buffs on them, it gets to a point where they can one-shot bosses. Even the final boss, they're able to one-shot. The problem is that they have nothing else going for them. They have as much melee attack power as every other melee character. They have no spells, no buffs, and their defensive options are really poor. Even though they gain defense naturally, they have natural armor when you unequip them. That still doesn't make them any stronger than mages. So I don't like monks. They're great for very niche situations, but it's not worth the pain of leveling them up to get to that point. Red Mage is fantastic in the original game in in this game. You're probably well aware that they're a jack of all trades, master of none. That's exactly true. They get access to good weapons, but not amazing weapons, and their attack stats aren't good enough to do great damage, but it's enough that they're able to one-shot most weak enemies, which makes them a useful melee attacker no matter what you do. They get access to most spells, not all of them, but all the ones you need. They can they can do some good spot healing if you give them the good cure spells. They can do most of the nukes, although that's not really what they're good for. They're mostly good for being able to cast the buffs that you otherwise can't cast. If you pick a white mage, then picking a red mage is good because they can cast the black magic buffs, and vice versa. And that's mostly what I'll be using a red mage for it in my playthrough. They just fill any niche you want well, while also being able to fill in other niches that you wouldn't be able to fill if you pick someone who could specialize in that. So yeah, in the original game, in this game, red mages are great. A must pick, in my opinion. Then we have white mages. White mages interestingly fluctuate between necessary and useless. They're necessary if you're taking in so much damage that you need really heavy heals to get through them, and they have a huge MP pool to be able to keep that pressure going. However, if you're at a high enough level that you don't need healing, then they're pretty much dead weight. That being said, I don't think that will ever happen in my playthrough because they do get access to sources of damage, which is their main weakness, obviously. There are items throughout the game that cast spells when you use them, and because White Mage has good magic, they'll be able to take advantage of that. Even without the magic stat, it's an otherwise useless character that's using a useful item, and that makes them useful in that regard. Interestingly, though, if you do all the bonus dungeons, which are specific to this version of the game, maybe some other versions, then they get access to stronger items that cast nuke, of course, but also a weapon that does great damage that everyone can equip. White Mage is the best choice because they have no other magic offensive options, and it makes them as good of a melee character as everyone else. So I think no matter what situation you're in, the White Mage is always going to be useful. Just don't expect them to be able to do damage in most situations. Black Mage, you might expect me to say that they do great damage but have poor survivability. That's not the case, unfortunately. Their damage actually pales in comparison to that of the melee characters, especially in the original version. Their only strength is that they're able to cast area of effect spells, which I guess Red Mage can do and White Mage can do in some situations, but it is really a draw of the Black Mage. That being said, their MP pool is so low that they can't keep that up through all the fights that you have to get through. So eventually they'll just run out of MP, and you're dragging along dead weight. This was especially true in the original version. They're better in this one, but still not good enough to really warrant using them. Really, the biggest strength is their buffs, which the Red Mage can do anyway, so may as well just pick Red Mage. So my character selection is going to be Warrior first, which I need to... How do you... Oh, there we go. I need to name him in order to get through this. Forgive my corny names. Warrior, because of his sheer defense, it's great to have a tank that can just absorb all the hits without much of a problem. Thief, because of his early game damage, it's not that great, but it's worth tagging him along. But mostly for his end game utility. He's great end game. I think that the original game was notable in that it allowed you to add your friends to this. So it's like a built-in D&D game in that regard. Yep. Red Mage. I'm bringing Red Mage along for his melee, a little bit of out of battle healing, but mainly for his buffs. The combination of melee and buffs is what makes him worth taking. And White Mage for the sheer amount of healing that she can do. It's not 100% clear that White Mage is a chick, but you can pretend that she is. Alright. And yeah, that's generally my favorite party to go with. In the original game, you would just start off the game, but this has a cutscene. The world lies shrouded in darkness. The wind dies. The winds die. Got that wrong. Oops. The seas rage. The earth decays. I guess the fire's not doing anything, but the people believe in a prophecy, patiently awaiting its fulfillment. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. After a long journey, 4 young travelers did at last appear, and in the hand of each was clutched a crystal. The original game just drops you right here. Let me get a save in. I don't know why I have 3 different save files, but yeah, I try to play through with a monk just to see how it went. I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler right there. The monk didn't go very well for me. If you talk to a guard, he takes you right to the next cutscene, so I'll avoid that for now. This is Cornelia, the City of Dreams. How sweet. That's an inn. You come here to restore all of your health, and this one specifically has some tips for you. I would be most happy to teach you about equipment. Would you care to listen? No. If you need to know about items, you've certainly come to the right person. As long as you're here, we're not here, eh? No. Would you like to tarry for just a moment to hear about monsters? Nope. I've been known to give quite a lecture on the use of magic. Have a listen? Nope. I obviously know about those things, but if you need a refresher course on them, that's quite useful. Hi there, I'm a dancer. What's that? You want to dance with me? I do have to be careful with my money. I have enough. I think that my equipment will be cheap enough, but I'll need to get some spells too. Restore the crystals to grace. Okay. Go talk to everyone first. Oh, please. You must rescue the princess. Oh, that's a chick. Oops. Sage Lucanus said something about finding the crescent moon, and he just up and left town. A king truly believes in Lucan's prophecy, that the warriors of light will come to save the princess. Please rescue Lady Sarah. You come here to revive people and I think restore status? That's the item shop right there. I once lived far to the east of here in the harbor of city of Provoca. These days I hear it's turned into a pirate's den. So in the original game, when you enter a shop, it's just a shop screen. It's this menu, basically. And in the early game, you needed to buy potions and stuff. You notice I only have 500 gil. It's not enough to buy a bunch of consumables. I'm just showing them off. But in the original game, you did need potions. Your white mage was not enough. But in my game, the white mage is here because I don't want to use potions. So first I need some weapons, I think. So I only have a knife and a cloth on everyone. I can get everyone a better weapon here. I think the rapiers are the best ones. I have a choice to buy a hammer and a staff. But look, this is so cheap, I may as well get it for everyone. It has 9 attack power and 5 accuracy. 5 accuracy is not your chance of attacking, but how many double attacks you get. This one has no accuracy, but slightly more attack. No, same attack. So the hammer is useless. Being said, I have the staff. 6 accuracy, 6 attack, 9 accuracy. The hammer is 9 attack. So I can do better melee with the hammer. Oop. Only 1 3. And what do you have? Knife. Let me make sure the knife. This has 10 accuracy as opposed to 5. The knife may do more damage in some situations, so I think the rapier is the best choice here. Yeah, I lower my accuracy to gain more attack, but proportionally, this looks about right. Oh. And that's just a straight up upgrade. It might be possible that the staff increases your, it might be used as an item. And here we go. This is why we choose a red mage early on. You can give him some chainmail, and that gives him some great defense early in the game. 1 leather armor. Luckily, I can see if it's an upgrade or not on this screen. The original, you obviously couldn't. Chainmail will allow him to basically take no damage. I'll still take damage with the leather armor, but yeah, I do the same thing here. Guess I'm stuck with clothes. And I have to switch formation now so that the red mage takes more hits. Now the magic is going to be expensive, so I'm going to go with the white magic first. Please get out of my way. Please get out of my way. Thank you. Magic is always pretty expensive. So I'm going to go with Cure first and see what else I can buy here. Protect might be useful. That's situationally useful. I don't think I want any of these spells. I want Protect for sure. I could have given that to Black Mage, actually. Then did Dia. I don't have enough money for that. Blink I want. Let me see if I can do something about this. There's something I'm just trying out. Let's give him Cure and Protect. I don't have enough gil. Yeah, I would have had enough for everything that I needed if I was smart with this, but I wasn't. And not enough to learn a black magic spell. The king is searching for the prophesied warriors of light. Those crystals! You must see the king at once. He takes me straight to him. I think in the original you had to run up and talk to him. Welcome, travelers. I am told you carry crystals. Is this true? Crystals. It's just as Lucan's prophecy foretold. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. Your Majesty, we cannot be certain that these are the warriors foretold by the prophecy. Yet they stand before us with the crystals. I cannot dismiss this as a mere coincidence. Crystal bearers, there is a task I would ask of you. Will you not rescue my daughter, Sarah? Garland, a knight once in His Majesty's service, has abducted Princess Sarah. I ask you for your aid in the name of His Majesty, the King of Cornelia. Garland has taken refuge in the Chaos Shrine, which lies to our north. Of course, we did attempt to save the princess ourselves, but Garland is the finest swordsman in the kingdom. We have none who can match him. I have heard that you wish to journey to the continents to our north. The bridge leading north was lost long ago, making passage impossible. If you can rescue Sarah, I will have the bridge rebuilt as a sign of my gratitude. Go now, warriors of light, and do not fail me. The cutscene in the original was way more simple than that. Our reports say that Garland fled north with a princess to the Chaos Shrine. That was a strange glitch. The king is searching for the prophesied warriors of light. Those crystals, could it be? Her Majesty is overcome with grief. We saw herself inside her chambers. Please try not to upset her. You're fat. I am Jane, Queen of Cornelia. Please bring my daughter, my Sarah, back to me safely. This layout and everything that people are saying is the same as the original, but the translation in it is much better. The art is more refined. My sister! I want my sister! There are some good items you can get in here, but I don't think you can get them next. Yet. You have to come back with a key. Garland was once the greatest knight in the kingdom, but power consumed him, and he lost sight of who he really was. Please save Lady Sarah. Can you get out of my way? Okay, you can't go up that way. You have to go around. Wrong way. The original also didn't have a run feature, so you'd have to be walking slowly throughout the entire game. I did finally beat the original. It was not easy. Our ancestors sealed weapons within this treasure house for 400 years ago. They then gave the king to the elf king to hold until the coming of the warriors of light. So yeah, you can't enter this. Our ancestors sealed weapons within this treasure house 400 years ago. They then gave the key to the elf king to hold until the coming of the warriors of light. Can't get this one either. Explored the town, explored the kingdom. I'm going to keep going and do the first dungeon too. This is a good overworld theme. Aww. Oh. In the original, if you attacked an enemy and it was already dead, then it would attack the space that you missed. Oh! Go Rose! I think it is possible to miss. Yes, see how much damage the thief is doing already? That's just because he's attacking twice. If you keep everyone alive throughout the entire game, they all level up at the same time. Oh, this is added to this version of the game. It's not in the original. This is the Earthgift Shrine. Long ago you could enter, and the way's been shut since the land began to decay. So if you kill the Lich, then you can enter this dungeon. The putrid stench of decaying earth hangs heavy in the air. Doing so gives you stuff that's so great that it trivializes the rest of the game. I don't know if I'll wait until I'm near the end of the game to do it, or... Yeah, actually I will, because level ups become better later on in the game. Notice how high everyone's HP is now. I think when you're only attacking once, it's possible for you to miss, but if you're attacking twice, then you'll always hit. Not necessarily twice, but you'll always be able to do some damage. I want to check something out. Can you go over it? I think you need to come back with that key that they were talking about before. I don't know if I want to use Dia against these guys. No, they seem to be easy enough. Yeah, every place on the right is bound with a mystic key, but you can get everything to the left easily enough. The interesting thing about the white mage is that it actually has the highest HP value of any class. I think roughly tied with the warrior. Oof. People are starting to attack twice already. A double attack obviously makes them a lot stronger. This is what makes the warrior the weakest melee guy. He just attacks fewer times than everyone else for a while. He eventually picks up and overcomes the thief. Other cap. Everyone is already taking... Actually. Oh. Everyone is already taking fairly low damage. Does anyone need to be healed? Need is a strong word. I'll hold off on it for now. I think this gives me a tent over here. Fuck, I shouldn't have held out. Shit! I think that was 6. That was a good choice. Or maybe just a lucky choice. These level ups are going to make me so strong. Potion, good. And tent, exactly what I wanted. I don't think you can just rush in here and kill the first boss, which is why I wanted to get that tent. I think these guys poison. Alright, and I can just use a tent here. Recover all my HP. I started off with around 30 HP and 10 MP, right? And yeah, now I've got 40 MP. Easily allowing me to fight this guy without much of a problem. The king will have no choice but to exchange the kingdom for his daughter's life. Cornelia will be mine. Who's there? The king's lapdogs. Do you have any idea who you're messing with? You really think you have what it takes to cross swords with me? Very well. I, Garland, will knock you all down! That's a direct quote from the original that it just had to keep. Oh, I have to do it one at a time, do I? She can't really do anything else. Oh, this battle theme was written specifically for this game, too. The original game always uses the traditional battle theme for every single fight. 4 damage. Because everyone has Protect now. Didn't even matter. Yeah, I could have rushed him at the beginning. Oh, you can't even see... Oh, man. Just realized you can't see what's going on in the corner there. I'll have to change that before the next video. You've come to rescue me? I don't know how I can ever thank you. I am Sarah, Princess of Cornelia. That's the first time anyone's ever defeated Garland. I knocked him down. You must allow me to show my gratitude. Please, accompany me to Castle Cornelia. Thank you for returning my daughter to my side. There can be no doubt that you are the warriors of light from Lucan's prophecy. You should hear the prophecy in its entirety, if I may. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. If they cannot gather the shards of light, the darkness will consume all. The 4 crystals will never shine again. Now, I hear that a crystal can be found on the continent to our north. Restoring light to the crystals is our only hope of ridding the world of the monsters which plague it. I will have the bridge to the north rebuilt, as I promised. I pray that you succeed in restoring light to the 4 crystals, and to the world. The lute has been entrusted to the princesses of Cornelia for many generations. When he abducted me, Garland took this lute as well. I want you to have it. It may aid you in your journey. Yeah, I need that to beat the game. I forgot all about it. If I didn't do that, I would have been stuck. The dancing girl in town knows many odd bits of information. If you stray from your path, try talking to her. She may know something that can put you back on course. Sarah's thoughts are always with you. And that's why I couldn't continue. Same thing happened to the original, no change so far. Orders from His Majesty. We're to do our part to fulfill the Kane's prophecy. What does this bridge have to do with the prophecy? The 4 warriors of light are here. They're here in Cornelia. I'm not going to call it quits just yet. There's one more thing that I want to show off. The original had this too. Not those birds, but... And so the quest began. As the four warriors of light, they felt overwhelmed by the great task destiny had placed before them. They did not even know the true significance of the four crystals they held in their hands. The crystals that once, long ago, held a light that shone so brilliantly. The time for their journey had come. The time to cast off the veil of darkness and bring the world once more into light. And that's the beginning of the game. And then it just pops back up, but we'll continue this later.